What happened was I got dropped from Roc-A-Fella on my prom day. You know, they didn't
ready
know.
for the prom?
Yeah, honey, getting ready. I was putting lotion on my legs, got a phone call, ring, ring. Hey, yeah, we're gonna be letting you go. I was like, oh. I didn't even tell anybody that day. But, you know, I was depressed for a little minute. I got back up. I was only 18 years of age. So it was time to get back up, get back out there and you know, just show my resilience. And that's what I'm doing now. And I'm here to deal with Warner Brothers for real. So God is...
No, I did not see it coming. I was getting ready for my prom, getting out the shower, and I got a call from Jay Brown, who works for Jay-Z. And he just told me, you know, it's a nice fine kiddo, but we gotta let you go. So that was the end of it. And I just kept it to myself for like 6 months. You know, I didn't want to tell anybody because I didn't want to deal with the questioning and all of that. So I just kept it to myself. And finally people started hearing it through the grapevine.
You kind of had a mentor relationship with Jay-Z during that time?
Yeah, he was definitely a mentor. He was like a father.
Definitely. I just thought she was beautiful. The first thing I saw, you know, was her beauty and how beautiful she was. And then I listened to her music and I loved her music. She's incredibly talented. I think she's what every female artist should strive to be or strive to be like, you know, because she, despite all her success, she still remains.
Lady of the Rock.
She's the princess.
The princess.
Yeah.
Okay, and what sets her apart as an artist from other R&B vocalists, female, that you think?
I just say, like, you know, just, you know, she's young, you know what I'm saying? So the integrity and the truth in what she's saying, you know what I'm saying, mixed with how, you know, she's really a sweet, innocent girl if you speak to her, you know what I'm saying? But she's seen a lot, so her twist on it and her take on it is
right. How was it like meeting her? I could not speak. Really. That's someone I really looked up to for a long time. And it was after one of my showcases and he was introducing me to everyone from the label. Then he finally said, okay, one more person. And there she was. And I could not speak.
And she gave you some advice.
Yes, she did. She just told me to, you know, when I get on stage, let loose, have fun, and be in control.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to let it go.
No.
Because you know, she'd be like, what? You know how she does it.
Y'all, let's talk about how Teairra Marie went poof from the music scene faster than we could blink. 1 minute she was Roc-A-Fella's little princess with the world at her feet, and the next, Jay-Z kicked her to the curb like yesterday's news, while this fresh-faced girl from Barbados, Rihanna, got all the shine. Now don't think Jay-Z and Beyonce can just ride off into the sunset scot-free. Nah, Teairra still got some serious grudges, baby. Word on the streets always been that Queen Bey herself wasn't feeling Teairra, saw her as a little too much competition, and shut it down. But let's unpack all this tea and get into what really went down.
Rihanna. And we had a showcase. And at the showcase, there were 2 artists performing. Her name is Teairra Marie, and she's a really sweet girl. And the truth is I was paying a little more attention to her than I was to Rihanna. After the showcase, you know, Beyonce just gave me one of those looks, and he said, that Rihanna girl, she's a beast. And she looked away, right? And I was like, so I did a Rihanna double take. You know, but it wasn't as though I didn't believe in Rihanna. I love that girl, right? But I paid a little more attention when Beyonce said that.
Ain't it funny how people always say there's no such thing as a morally upright billionaire? Because you know they had to crush a few skulls to get to the top? And when you look at how Jay-Z and Beyonce were moving in the early 2000s, it's clear they weren't always playing by the book. Now, let's talk about Teairra Marie. Baby girl was just 16 when she hit the scene, all thanks to L.A. Reid, who snatched her up for Def Jam. But before that, her mentor Big Mike from Kiss Productions was out here hustling, taking her demo to all the big shots in the industry, trying to get her name out there. Oh baby, when L.A. Reid heard her voice, he knew right then and there she was the one. He was like, this girl is gonna be the next big thing. And you know it's real when even Def Jam's A&R kingpin, Shakir Stewart, can't stop raving about her. He straight up said, Teairra was a star the moment she stepped into that room. She had the whole place in awe during her audition. We were all hooked from the jump. Teairra was young, gorgeous, and had that urban swag that L.A. Reid and Jay-Z both knew would have the game on lock. When Teairra dropped her debut single, Make Her Feel Good, it was an instant hit, racking up crazy numbers. Jay-Z knew he had a gem on his hands, and that was it. He started calling her the Princess of Rock, bringing her to all the events, and putting that full Jay-Z cosign behind her, making it crystal clear that Teairra was the one to watch. Meanwhile, Rihanna was just getting started. But even though Pondé Replay was a hit, the execs weren't really checking for her like that. They were all in on Teairra, thinking she was going to be the next big thing, and leaving Rihanna to figure things out on her own. But y'all know how the game goes. One word from Beyonce, and everything flipped upside down. So, back in the day, Bey was already Jay's girl and was out here slaying with her debut album, Dangerously in Love. That album had the whole radio in a chokehold. And don't forget, Destiny's Child was running things too. Now, L.A. Reid spilled the tea that they had an in-house company showcase, and guess who showed up? Yep, Beyonce. After the performance, she casually slid up to Reid and whispered that Rihanna was a beast. Didn't say much more than that, but honestly, that was all it took to push Rihanna into the spotlight. Here's the thing though, Beyonce and Rihanna, never been close, honey. In fact, they've always been more like frenemies than anything else. People have been side-eyeing for years, wondering why these two never did a collab, especially when Rihanna was signed under Jay's label. The minute Rihanna started getting that co-sign from Jay, and Def Jam started backing her up, she flipped the script, talking all that good stuff about Beyonce, saying every artist should model themselves after her. But we all know that wasn't out of the goodness of her heart. She knew Def Jam wasn't paying attention to her just for no reason.
I'm a big fan of Beyonce.
I love her.
And so has she given you any kind of advice or...
Yeah, she actually wrote me this cute little letter and she signed it with her autograph. It was so cute. When I first met her, and she wrote, she was telling me just let loose when you perform and just have fun and be in control. Definitely. I just thought she was beautiful. The first thing I saw, was her beauty and how beautiful she was. And then I listened to her music and I loved her music. She's incredibly talented. I think she's what every female artist should strive to be or strive to be like, because she, despite all her success, she still remains.
Right. How was it like meeting her? I could not speak. Really. That's someone I really looked up to for a long time. And it was after one of my showcases and he was introducing me to everyone from the label. Then he finally said, okay, one more person. And there she was. And I could not speak.
And she gave you some advice.
Yes, she did. She just told me to, when I get on stage, let loose, have fun, and be in control.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to let it go.
No.
Because she'd be like, what? You know how she does it.
Oh, honey, Teairra Mari ain't holding back. She says pushing Rihanna to the front of the line at Def Jam, that was one of the worst moves Beyonce could have made. Now, we all know L.A. Reid was hip to Teairra's talent, and so was Bey. But here's the tea. It's that very talent that had Bey sweating. Word on the street is, Beyonce peeped that Teairra had the same style and sound. And let's be real, nobody's trying to let someone upstage them. So, she nipped that in the bud before it got messy, cutting off any competition right at the source. Smart move or shady? You decide.
What happened was I got dropped from Roc-A-Fella on my prom day. They
Getting
didn't
ready
know.
for the prom.
Yeah, honey, getting ready. I was putting lotion on my legs, got a phone call, ring. Hey, yeah, we're gonna be letting you go. I was like, oh. I didn't even tell anybody that day. But, I was depressed for a little minute. I got back up. I was only 18 years of age. So it was time to get back up, get back out there and just show my resilience. And that's what I'm doing now. And I'm here to deal with the Warner Brothers for real. So God is...
After Teairra Mari dropped her debut single, the comparisons to Beyonce were nonstop. I mean, the girl was practically a mirror image of Bey. Same sound, same vibe, same stage presence. Def Jam definitely saw it and decided to stir the pot by giving Teairra Beyonce's parts on Destiny's Child's Lose My Breath. It got so bad that when Teairra's debut album, Roc-A-Fella Presents Teairra Mari, hit the streets, Rolling Stone's Christian Horde had to throw some shade. He said, apparently Jay-Z just can't get enough of Beyonce. Having scored the real deal as his girlfriend, the Def Jam press is releasing records from a couple of pretty young things who obviously spent some time studying Ms. B's playbook. The debut from Detroit native Teairra Mari is full of Norwegian croonin' and essays peel. Yeah, that wasn't the type of press Bey wanted floating around, especially since she was just getting her solo career off the ground. Oh, people really underestimated Rihanna, huh? They thought she was just gonna be a one-hit wonder and fade into obscurity. But honey, Beyonce must have been shook when she heard Rihanna's name being dropped in the same convo as hers. And get this. Some folks even had the audacity to say Rihanna might just be the more successful one. Oof, that's a whole lot of tea. It didn't help that Rihanna and Jay-Z were out here looking way too cozy either. The streets were talking. Now we all know Jay-Z has stepped out on Beyonce more times than we can count. And that mess only added fuel to the fire with this whole Rihanna and Beyonce drama. It got so out of hand that at the title press conference, word on the street is it was a straight-up cringe. I mean, trying to wrangle all those big egos, Nicki Minaj, Madonna, Kanye on stage was already a mission. But things got real messy when it came to Queen Bey and Riri. An insider spilled the tea saying, it was awkward from the jump. Bey and Rihanna refused to even stand next to each other, let alone speak. The handlers had to work overtime to keep the divas happy. The whole thing was choreographed to the T, and these two basically ignored each other. Talk about the cold. But while all the drama in the game and the messy music politics were playing out, the one who really got the short end of the stick was Teairra Mari. Imagine finding out you got dropped from your label while you're just trying to enjoy prom prep. Talk about a blow to the soul. Teairra had looked up to Jay-Z like a father and saw Beyonce and Rihanna as sisters. So for Jay to drop her without so much as a word, that cut deep. It was like a wake-up call for her, showing her the cold truth. Loyalty? That's a myth in the music industry. She didn't let that stop her, though. She signed with Warner Brothers and dropped new music, but let's be real, it never hit the same. Meanwhile, Def Jam kept trying to paint her as some ghetto R&B mess, especially with her second single, No Daddy, trying to push that narrative. Oh, but who's really gonna buy that a 16 or 17-year-old singer is out here knowing about all that grown-up mess? Back in the day, folks gave hip-hop MCs like Foxy Brown a little more leeway when they rapped about that kind of stuff. But they weren't here for teen R&B artists pushing it that far, especially like that. Now, what really sent Teairra Mari's career crashing and burning was when radio stations started turning their backs and refused to play her music. Oh, baby. When Teairra's track sponsor dropped, it was a straight-up bop. Like, finally, all the gold diggers out there had their own anthem, right? Even if you weren't vibing with the lyrics, that beat stuck in your head like glue. And with Gucci Mane and Soulja Boy on it, that song had all the ingredients for a worldwide smash. But here's where it gets real messy. Some shows like BET's 106 and Park wouldn't even touch it. And Biet went as far as banning her video. Talking about it was too detrimental to young women. Like, hold up, really? Out of all the ratchet songs they play, Teairra's was the one they decided to take a stand on? Oh, okay. So when Sponsor didn't pop off like it should've, Teairra thought, let me hit up Love and Hip Hop and get this career back on track. Baby, that was the final nail in the coffin. They had her looking like a hot mess, wilding out and stirring up drama every chance she got. It was a bad look for her, for real. Teairra's whole music career was so caught up in the chaos that she never had a real shot to shine like she deserved to. She was that underrated artist who was just always this close to blowing up, but never quite did. And trust, people have a lot to say about it. Quote, Beyonce didn't see Rihanna surpassing her in the way that she did because her vocal ability wasn't as great as Teairra Mari. But here we are, LOL, she should have kept her mouth shut. Also, quote, you know the gossip doesn't stop, right? Roc-A-Fella really did my girl Teairra Mari wrong. She really could have been bigger, another one added whenever that Jay-Z documentary hits. I want to know why they gave up on Teairra Mari. That debut is still everything to this day, end quote. Now, some folks will argue that Riri came through with bigger hits than Teairra right from the jump. But hold up, ain't that the whole tea? Why was Jay-Z so quick to cut her loose? Like 1 minute he's all in, and the next he's acting like Teairra never existed, even when Shorty was out here raking in the dough. That kind of switch up? Oh, it screams more than just business, trust me. But here's the real question. Are we giving Jay and Bey too much credit in this whole saga? Or does Teairra Mari really deserve all the blame for how things went down with her career?